welcome back to another episode of Two Joes and a Pro. As always, it's your guy, Kenny, Ryan, and Brian, my boys. I see you guys once a week. What's going on? What's the latest? How y'all doing?
I'm good.
Chilling, man. Chilling. Hey, Kenny, how's the home life going?
Man, as both of you guys know, man, having two, it's tough. I would say
now you gotta carry your weight.
I've been carrying my weight. You know what I mean?
Kenny's out here giving baths. He's not messing around.
Nah, I really don't get baths though. Like it's kind of like Tosh, you come up and help me out. I'm terrible at baths. I'm gonna put that out there. I am terrible because when they start to cry, I start panicking. I start panicking, boy. I be like, yo, come quick. I start panicking. So she really does it for the most part. Me and Kyla, to the point, because she's older now, it's a little bit easier. But Kennedy, nah, that's off limits. Like, nah.
Yeah.
I do everything else, but I ain't baby. That's dead. Anyway, by the way, guys, I got a new camera, man. I apologize. Last week, that was terrible. That was one of our most firest episodes of all time, and I fumbled. You know what I mean? I normally don't fumble the ball, right? But I fumbled last week. That was terrible. Brian and Ryan looking GQ, right? They were looking like Will Smith, and I was Chris Rock. You know what I mean? Like, that's what it was. Anyway, I'm not going to, that's my only.
Can we talk about that?
Yeah, let's talk about it real quick. What's you guys' take on that? Right? Granted, Chris Rock said he didn't know that, Jada had alopecia, right? That's how you say it? Alopecia?
Yes.
Sure. Didn't know that she had that, right? But still, do you think that Will responded he was a little overboard with it?
Yeah. 100%. 100%. So I get where he's coming from,
Mm-hmm.
and he could be as upset as he wants. Go to the after party and slap the shit out of him. But you're on live TV, and everyone knew he was winning the Oscar.
Yeah.
That later that night, like that was your night. Like, just get through the night. You boycotted the Oscar the last couple of years. Mm-hmm. You decided to show up because you knew you were gonna win. Like, just get through the night and and deal with him after that.
Yeah, I was a little upset that he did it to Chris Rock, right? Like, anybody in general, it doesn't really matter. But I thought I was upset that he did it to Chris Rock because it's like, speaking from a African American perspective, right? It's like, man, we jumped through all these hurdles and leaps and bounds to get there anyway, and then now what you do to like people that are not with the present times, like that's why you don't invite their ass. Look what they do. They smacking each other and shit. That's why you don't invite that. So it pissed me off in that case. It's like, bro, you could have did it any other time. Like, Chris Rock is a comedian. You crack jokes, Will. Like, you get it. And I understand, like, we don't know what Jada's going through. We don't know what how that affects her mental or what she's doing, right? And that bothers her. I get it, right? I understand that. But it's like, it's ways about going around things, right? And it's like, you try to do that to kind of like, it was like bigging up yourself to Chris Rock, but it's like you both look embarrassing. You embarrass him because you smacked him on live TV. Everybody and their mom saw it. Now it's all these memes across the world, and then your character now, people like look at you like, damn, that's Will. Like, I never saw Will like that, right? So it's like, not that it matters to him because he's financially free, but it's still like at the end of the day, we all see Will Smith as one of the greatest actors of all time, right? Like, The Pursuit of Happiness, 7 Pounds. He has all these crazy movies that like are Academy Award movies. And then you just do this especially when you won, Actor of the Year. Like, that shit was crazy to me. But yeah, I know you had something to say, Brian.
Oh, I was just gonna say, like, if anybody's trying to say that, like, this is why you don't invite them, like, that would be messed up because I believe that this has happened before. I'm not sure if it was at the academies or not, but like, it was two white guys, like, back in the day, like, one guy just smacked the shit out of the other one. So, I mean, yeah, that's why I would say to argue that, like, come on, it has nothing to do with race.
But I'm saying, like, on Twitter and social media, people were saying, like, oh, that's why this is it. And, like, that's because you got to think about it, right? Even though a lot of people are, with the times, a lot of people are still have that same type of mindset, right? But a lot of people are saying that. You see that on Twitter and things like that, and it's like, damn, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah.
But also, I'd like to add, I don't think this guy should be kicked out of the academy.
Nah.
For this, because then you're likening him to people like Harvey Weinstein, which is a whole nother, ballpark.
Yeah.
Come on. Okay,
I agree.
like defending your wife is different than being a sexual predator.
Yeah.
Like that's way overboard.
He's definitely got some personal stuff going on
Who?
between him and his wife.
Sure, but
Well, no. I'm just saying that, like personal stuff aside, because he initially laughed at that joke, and then he saw her reaction. He was like, "Oh, I gotta handle the business."
Yeah, they probably got some stuff. Because the thing is this, right? He might have thought it was like, okay. But when you see the expression on her face, and like I said again, we don't know what goes on at their house, how bad it affects her. That's a whole different thing, right? Because it's like y'all don't got to go home to that. I do, right? So if she is super upset and then now she's lashing out at me, I have to deal with that, not you, right? So it's one of those things like that. But I would say to Chris Rock, I like that he took that shit on the chin. He said, "Damn," like ate it, right? And Will didn't.
Well, yeah, he leaned into it because he thought he was like gonna like.
He said, "Uh-oh."
I don't know. He just.
And Will didn't do no like little baby smack like he did when the dude tried to kiss him when he was doing the interview. He's like, "What you doing?" Nah, he like reached back there.
Oh yeah.
And it was a little weak, but anyway, he should have like if you gonna cock back like that, you should have put Chris Rock to sleep. Like,
yeah.
He kind of got ready like just to make sure Chris Rock didn't like try and fight him, and then he turned around. It was like real slight. He like hit him real hard, and then got in like a stance, but then just turned back around.
And then button up the butterfly, like nothing happened. Like everybody's like, keep my wife's name out your. I was like, dang. Anyway, let's get to the sports. All right, I'm done with it. Let's get to sports. All right, so what we got going on? Final Four. That's the biggest thing, right? Brian's got to say, hey, by the way, the two Joes in the Pro March Madness bracket is between Brian and at Wilson 27. Ain't that right, Brian? Is this y'all two? That's the only people that can win, correct?
I believe so.
Yeah. So, hey, at Wilson 27, I'm not exactly sure who you are. If we're on Twitter, just reach out to us on Twitter, on the in my page, Motivate Inspire page, or you could hit us up on Instagram as well and let us know because it's gonna be between one of you two that's gonna win that top prize. And if not,
I will add that if I don't win, that I don't get in the top two. So I think that what's the Connor? Is it Connor? Some guy named Connor?
Yeah, Connor Riley. Shout out to Connor.
I think that guy will get second if I get bounced.
Well, maybe.
Yeah, because he has Kansas.
Yes. Yeah.
So it basically comes down to Kansas and Villanova, and then even if Villanova beats Kansas, I still need Villanova to win the whole thing to have a chance. Otherwise, it's either I'm either first or I'm just out of it.
Because would that put him above Kenny? Because Kenny's at 700 points.
Yeah, Connor's pick
710?
would put him at 710, I think, as well. It'll put both y'all at 710, but then if you have Villanova win, then it'll be it, right?
No, I won't even be at 710. I'll be at 670. That's why I need them to win it all.
Yeah. So, by the way, guys, the Final Four is going to be Villanova versus Kansas, which is the game that I guess we're all going to be watching and rooting for. And then I think probably the craziest scenario ever, right? North Carolina, Duke. For Duke to go to the national championship, Coach K playing against a rival after North Carolina just bust their tail the last game to send Coach K off. It's going to be crazy. And if you think about it, the top four powerhouses, like team-wise, out of the whole NCAA, right? I think the only team that you could say is different is Kentucky, right? Kentucky would make it better as far as like blue chip, but like Villanova, I think is blue chip with Jay. Like he's bring that program up the whole time. They're always, they're no slouch, right? So St. Peter's, you guys played your heart out. But yeah, North Carolina bust that ass. Everybody else was taking their time, but they're like, nah, bro, yeah, not there. But shout out to
Magic.
Go ahead.
The Magic wore out.
Yeah, it did. There was no prayers up there this time. Their coach, though, I forgot his name. Their coach, he just actually got hired to Seton Hall as their head coach. So shout out to him. That run helped them out, and I know that's big, right? To go from St. Peter's to Seton Hall, that's a pretty big deal, right? So
didn't he play on the same like high school team as Kobe or All-American team or something like that? I think I saw something about that. His last name's Hollowell, right? Or Holloway?
Yeah, something like that. But I don't know if he did play, if he was McDonald's All-American or if he would have. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it was McDonald's All-American, and he actually got the MVP award in that game, and Kobe did. So it's kind of funny. One of those things that he can always hold on to. I mean, Kobe's like one of the all-time greats. So
yeah, the all-time great in my book.
We'll go with one of.
Yeah, the McDonald's All-American game was yesterday, which was really, really good. There's a lot of great talent in there. One of my teammates, his little brother, actually won the MVP for the McDonald's All-American, so he'll be going to Duke as well. So that'd be good to see that happen or see him in that light. Getting into NBA though, that's what I really wanted to touch on. The Celtics, the Heat, the 76ers are all in the Bucks are all one game apart, and they're kind of like in this. If you lose, you go from 1 to 4. Because Celtics was just at 1, and then they lost, and they dropped them down to 3, I believe. I think they're at 4 now, and they're like shuffling back and forth. But it's real tight in that 1 through 4.
But they play Miami tonight.
Yeah, they play Miami tonight, which it's a closer game right now. Last time I looked, so I'm not gonna lie to you, man. I took my hat off to you, Brian. The Celtics boys is playing hard, right? I said it last week, and I was like, all right, I actually been watching more. They've been playing hard. The Bucks, Giannis is starting to get in his bag and play for real. The 76ers is one of those teams that's like, all right, you just depend on the night, because they played yesterday, and James Harden went off, and Embiid went off. Even though the Bucks came out with the win, it was like, that's going to be a tough matchup, right? Like, just them two alone, like, every night, it's going to be tough. KD and Kyrie, that's sweeping. The Nets is sweeping under the radar. Everybody's like, oh, yeah, whatever. They count them out. But you don't want to – if you don't actually want to be in first, because I think the Nets is in the 8th right now, you don't actually want to be in first, because if you do, then you're going to have to play against the Nets. And it's not Kyrie's not playing. Kyrie is playing. It's crazy how we talked about it last week, and then they lifted, right? You said it was going to happen, and then they lifted. And Kyrie's like, all right, I'm playing all the time now.
I did that.
Yo, my bad. Put it in there. Yeah, man. Ryan called his peoples. He has some peoples up there. Just make things happen. But no, like, you don't want to play Kyrie and KD. Like, nah. And then if they...
No, that's true.
Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, I was just going to say that's true, like, and Ben Simmons.
Yeah.
That's like going to be a real, like, easy upset to pick in the NBA championship or whatever, the NBA playoffs.
The playoffs first round, yeah.
Because they're still, like, talent-wise, probably the top team in the East. Talent-wise.
Yeah, because...
Now, let's see them put it together on the floor and win, you know, because this year they've been up and down all year.
Nah, for sure.
So...
and then, so that does it for the East. Oh, I wanted to touch on this. Did you guys see the outlash between Jimmy Butler, Udonis Haslem, and Eric Spoelstra last week?
Yes.
Man,
Spoelstra was heat.
I've never seen him like that. Like, it was to the point where they broke him off. They hashed it out. You thought it was good. And then he went back and started spazzing at him again. So I'm still curious to know what Jimmy Butler said, because they never said anything about it. It's like they never talked about, oh, yeah, this will happen. You never heard anything. But I just saw Udonis Haslem tell him, he said, I'll whoop your motherfucking ass. Like, I saw that, and I was like, oh, man. You know what I mean? Udonis Haslem is like, when he just stays on the team. I don't know why. He's
just a coach now, isn't he?
No, he still plays. He's just on the bench. He's
a player.
Bro, he's still like the 14th man. Whatever the last man that they signed, he's always signed. Like, But nah, they would have to hold him back, and then whatever he said, it was something crazy, because to get the two senior guys that's been on the team or the part of that team the longest, being the coach and the player, like, they were riled up, and I've never seen, like, Udonis Haslem gets riled up a little bit, but not he an old head, right? So to get him actually that furious is crazy. So
yeah, and Spoelstra, I've never seen act like that ever.
Throwing clipboards, like, everything,
like. And the fact that it was Jimmy Butler, that's their star player. Yeah. It's not just some guy.
Yeah.
That's a top 20 guy right there.
Yeah.
And you're yelling at him on the court? I mean, that doesn't happen in the NBA.
Nah. So,
hey, can I read something to you guys?
Yeah, go ahead.
The last time LeBron missed the
I
playoffs.
knew, I knew it was
Netflix
gonna.
was delivering DVDs.
I knew it was coming.
Apple didn't have an iPhone.
Oh man.
YouTube was founded, and Aubrey Graham wasn't Drake yet. He was Jimmy Brooks on Degrassi.
I knew that shit was coming. Okay, so we'll go.
Anyways.
So the West.
So we'll go to the West. For that, all that being said, the Lakers were on the outside looking in. We're tied for 10th, even though we're in 11th because
You on the outside looking
the Spurs. Yeah, the Spurs are like they won a tiebreaker. And LeBron is not playing because his ankle. AD is not playing, so it's a Westbrook show, and Westbrook ain't got enough help. And Westbrook numbers hasn't been bad. I think he's averaging 18, 11, and 7 or 8 or something like that. So people make it seem like Westbrook numbers is trash, but it's like it just looks like that because we're so used to seeing Westbrook having 20 points, 13, 15, like triple-double every game. So like he's actually doing good, right? But we don't have nothing. Like our starting lineup yesterday was Dwight Howard, Russell Westbrook, Malik Monk, Reeves from Oklahoma, and Stanley Johnson. Like what? Stanley Johnson wasn't even on the team last year, or he was on the bench.
I don't even know who that is.
He played at Arizona. He wasn't even on the team last year. He was at Detroit. I think on the bench, back and forth. Reeves was a free agent, wasn't even supposed to sign or made a team. Dwight Howard, he ain't been good since Orlando, and then Malik Monk, we signed him on a contract on a cheap deal because he wasn't balling like he was supposed to in the Hornets. But that's our starting lineup. And we're like, all right, cool, we're going to play against Luka. And Luka dogged us out. He had a triple-double. I think he had 46, 11, and 13 or something like that. Killed us. All right, boom, put us in outside in. But whatever, let's not talk about the Lakers, right? Because that's not important here. The Suns are in first place at 61-14. The Grizzlies, right? Ja Morant's still doing his thing. They play good without Ja Morant. That's the thing. Their coach, he's just a hell of a coach. Like they play good whether they got Ja Morant or they don't got Ja Morant, right? So they're in second. The Warriors is in third. Actually, they're 5 games behind the Grizzlies, and then the Mavericks is slowly just creeping through. Nobody's paying attention to that. They're creeping through, right? And then I still think Joker is going to win the MVP. That man's numbers is crazy. He's like 27, 15, and 12. Like, his numbers is crazy, bro. Or it's not 12. He's like, I'd say 8, but he's been having a lot of triple-doubles lately. But for him being a big man, because it's between him and Embiid right now. Yeah. But he doesn't have more rebounds than Joker, and he don't have more assists, but he has more points. I think Embiid was like 29 or something like that. But it's like, it doesn't matter. Like, what Joker does is not flashy like Embiid, but it's still, like, it's undeniable. So, yeah, I took up a lot of the time. I'm sorry. So, yeah, let's get to it.
Hey, man, it's all good.
Talked about Will Smith too long.
Yeah.
You just smacked my segment. Yeah, so, I mean, all right, this is the last week of preseason baseball. For those of you who are getting, maybe people are getting ready for their fantasy baseball leagues like I am.
What?
Yeah.
That shit is tiring.
Bro,
That's so exhausting. It's exhausting.
That is every day. It's more than just an everyday commitment. Like, oh, man.
Do you win?
I am not that good at fantasy baseball. I will not lie. So, well, because, like,
it's too hard to keep up with.
Think about it. There's 28 players on each team. And you got to know guys that are in the minors. That's not included in those 28.
No, that's dead, bro.
Like, because you got to know, like, when these guys are coming up, you got to know, like, hey, should I stash this guy? It's just crazy. And you got to, like, go with the ebbs and flows because, you know, baseball players are streaky. Like,
that's dead.
It's a whole other beast. It is way beyond fantasy football. I'm not knocking fantasy football. I love it. But fantasy baseball is way harder. And, yeah, so it's crazy. So, and it's more for nerds. You know, no offense to y'all, but it's a stat game. You got to be looking at those advanced metrics, and yeah, man, that's just not me. So that's why I don't do that well. But I still like to play it. It's fun, you know. I think the best I ever placed was 4th, which, you know, so But so I'm not gonna sit here and say I'm the greatest. But yeah, so we're almost there. April 7th, opening day. Red Sox at Yankees. Just saying. Hockey. Um, I've been over this a few times before, but the standings are basically where they were when I said at Thanksgiving. Like, I think it's like maybe 12 or 13 of the 16 teams that I said on Thanksgiving are actually in the playoffs right now.
That's good.
Like, and really looking at the standings, I mean, there's not much action that's going to happen in the East. I think it's pretty set as far as the East. All they're going to do is swap positions, but it's basically going to be the top 8 that it is now.
Mm-hmm.
You got let's see, you got Florida, Carolina, the Rangers, Tampa, Pittsburgh, Toronto, and Boston, and the Capitals probably are going to be the one that make it. So the difference between the Capitals and the next team is 15 points. So that's significant because that means that's 8 wins, basically difference.
Yeah, real quick for the people that they're not tracking hockey. How does the points are calculated? Because I never kind of really understood that.
It's 2 points for a win, 1 point if you lose in overtime. So if you make the game go to overtime, you get 1 point.
I understand it. But
That's basically it.
Yeah. Why don't you just say win or lose? Like that makes no sense.
Well, because if you lose in regulation, you get 0.
I got you.
Yeah. So they're rewarding you for making the game tight. But
how many instances has it resulted in a team with a worse record making it over a team with a better record?
I think you've asked me this before.
And it hasn't happened often, I don't think.
No,
I think I remember looking
thing.
it up. It's like 1 or 2 times.
Yeah, it doesn't happen very often. It's like maybe once in a decade, maybe at most. But I mean, you got a couple teams.
Analysis.
You got a couple teams out there like Pittsburgh and Washington. They got 10 overtime losses. That's 10 points that they otherwise wouldn't have if they didn't have the point system. So it does make a difference. A small one, but still.
Hey. Every size.
Let's go.
Size doesn't matter.
Chill out.
Now, all right. So the West, you have a little bit more of a race for the last couple spots. Basically, the top 6 are solidified. You got Colorado, Calgary, Minnesota, Nashville, St. Louis, LA, and then you got Edmonton, Dallas, Vegas. Those are probably the 3 that are really going to be in the mix for the last 2 spots. But also Winnipeg and Vancouver are kind of sniffing. They're the lowest team right now is Vancouver. They're at 73 points, and to get in, they would need 76 to get in. So they're only 3 points behind that team. So that's going to be a little bit of a race coming down the stretch here. They've already played 67 games. Give or take a couple games here and there for each team, but so playoffs could be coming up soon. That's about all I got for hockey.
Sweet. We got football. Is that
what?
Who's got football?
Is that a real question?
Yeah.
Bueller. You got football,
That's
man.
Your question? Oh, I know. All right, so I'll cover the breaking news that just happened 10 minutes before we hit record. Bruce Arians steps away as the head coach.
Brady
and
wins.
Todd Bowles signs a 5-year contract to be the head coach. I thought he was just going to be like an interim head coach, but apparently he signed something earlier today. He is going to be a 5-year. Well, it doesn't matter for coaches because they'll sign a 5-year, fire him next year, and just pay him for 4 years because they don't care.
Why would they take him over Leftwich? I don't understand that.
He's got the coaching experience.
I get that, right? But you can have this Sean McVay with what's his name? Wade Phillips. That same type of effect when you have an older person that has been a head coach already, but he's your defensive coordinator, and you let a young guy run it as offensive about the head coach, right? You need some young blood in there, right? Like we've seen what Todd Bowles do. Okay, I get it. He's a Temple guy. Okay, cool. That's fine. That doesn't mean that he's going to be successful. We've seen every time he hasn't been successful yet. So I don't understand why you don't give Leftwich the opportunity when he is a genius mind as far as offense. You know what he was as a player. You give him the chance. Because if you don't give him a chance, then he's going to leave and go somewhere else. And then what Todd Bowles going to do?
Well, yeah. I mean, I see that point. But at the same time, if you have it flip-flopped, Leftwich is there as the guy. What if Todd Bowles gets a job somewhere? Then what's Leftwich going to do on defense?
You can get somebody else to replace Todd Bowles for defense. Don't get me wrong, he's a great defensive coordinator, but he ain't like he the only person that can coach defense. If Leftwich leaves, what young guy offensively is going to come in there and lead the team? I mean, because all offensive
Thomas Brady.
Who's to say that Leftwich is really the mastermind behind the offense? Maybe it's just because Brady's there.
Don't let that shit fool you. I get it. Tom Brady is the GOAT, but he's not running every single thing, okay? It seems like, oh, yeah, it's easy to do, but it's not, right?
So Tom Brady didn't wave off the sideline a few times this year?
Coaches,
like, nah.
Quarterbacks do that. It doesn't matter who it is. It doesn't matter if you have a name or not. Doggone, what's his name? What's his name from that this can't find a team right now from the Browns? Baker Mayfield.
He's on the Browns.
Baker Mayfield, the same thing. Like if you're a starting quarterback, you get autonomy sometimes to like you get the opportunity to have autonomy and do what you want to do. That's just part of it, right? It's like sometimes you're like, coach, no, I like it. I'm betting on me, and they're gonna like, all right, cool, go, right? But at the end of the day, game planning. Tom Brady is a hell of a player. He's a GOAT. He's an all-time GOAT, like NFL, right? Every position, right? But when you talk about game planning, he's not watching film to script when they're running and when they're not running and doing all that. He's not doing that. Like I get it. It seems like he would, but he's not. He's not that. Don't get me wrong. He's tracking what the game plan is and what's the first 15 and all that. But he's not saying, "Oh, this is what we're doing." Don't let people fool you and let you think that Tom Brady's doing it because he's not.
We'll have Brady on next week so you can have that discussion with him. You can confront him a little bit about it.
Sorry, my bad.
Be like, you ain't nothing, Brady. You ain't nothing, Thomas. Hey, Second Texas grand jury declined to indict Deshaun Watson, so of criminal charges. So that's another instance where he's cleared through the legal system, but I'm sure the NFL is going to push down a punishment at some point when they finish their investigation. They will, which I think it's stupid, but
you suspended a quarterback for deflating balls for 4 games, so Deshaun Watson's gonna get something.
So what's the purpose of even letting the civil court the civil court do anything if the NFL's going to do stuff? That makes no sense to me. It's like you get charged twice.
He sat out all last year.
Yeah,
but that was his own doing.
Was it though?
You thought that you thought the NFL was going to let him play last year?
He was on the commissioner's exempt list.
Was he?
I'm pretty sure he was because
I thought he just was not like a DNP, like coach's decision, like because I thought they paid him his salary the whole year, and
I don't know if they paid his salary.
Maybe. Either way, he's going to be a Brown. He's probably not going to play. I wonder if they suspend him all year. Did we ever cover the year-long suspension of Calvin Ridley?
No.
I think we maybe talked a little bit about the betting. He got in trouble. He got in trouble for betting, and they suspended him for a year. But I think it's hilarious that it was like the most he bet was like $1,000. It wasn't like a ton of money. It was like or $1,500.
I forgot what the bet was. It was something weird too.
It was like he bet on the Falcons to win. It was like a 3-game parlay that included the Falcons to win the game, and they didn't win the game.
I don't know why I thought it was a different sport, like a different team. That's crazy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you can't do
he's
that.
out of control.
But I don't understand that though. Like he wants them to win, so it's not like he's throwing the game. You know what I mean? Like
he wasn't even playing. He was not playing in the game.
Yeah, but it's because if you let that go, then you're gonna let the next one go, and it could come down to somebody having insider knowledge.
Exactly, that's the problem. Is that he has insider knowledge on like game plan, and it could provide a competitive advantage.
You think that people don't have an inside knowledge already? Like, come on.
100%. With DFS, it's definitely happening all over the place.
I know you know, Ryan. You looking at
daily
this
fantasy, be like,
how the hell he put that in there? That lineup.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you know what's happening. Hey, MVS got a 3-year, $30 million deal from the Chiefs. I thought that was pretty wild. Like, he's never had over 1,000 yards and maybe had 6 touchdowns in a season. So I mean, I just
and
didn't
he's
think
never
it was,
healthy
like,
for a year.
Yeah, I don't get that one. We covered the Tyreek Hill stuff from last week. People are talking. Bobby Wagner, where'd he sign?
Nowhere.
He hasn't signed anywhere yet. He met with the Rams and someone else.
Where do you think Odell's gonna go?
That's tough.
The couch?
Probably the highest bidder. And I don't think his bids are going to be very high because he's coming off an injury. He's going to have another 1-year deal, prove it deal, because of the injury. It sucks for him, but what are you supposed to do if you're their team? You gotta protect yourself.
What do you think, Kenny?
I don't know. That's why I'm asking you guys. I really have no clue. I can see it going. I
told you he's retiring.
No, that's what he's not doing. So I can see it going Brian's way, where it says a 1-year deal that makes sense, right? Or if he goes to somewhere like the Saints or something like that, where they lock him in, maybe like a 3-year deal, but it's not going to be crazy numbers, right? Like,
yeah, but is he going to want to play with Jameis?
He's at the crib though. You know what I mean?
I know,
but it's different. Like, a lot of people go home and they want to play at home, right? I could see him doing something like that, a 2 or 3 year deal, doing that. All right, but.
The Lions will be featured on Hard Knocks, so get your DVRs ready for that.
Can't wait to see Jared Goff.
And then the NFL owners approved overtime changes for the playoffs or postseason only. So in the postseason, the way Brian was explaining it to me and the way I read it, it's that both teams will have a chance to get the ball regardless of if the first team scores a touchdown. But this will only take place during the playoffs.
And then sudden death, which I don't understand that. Just one play? Is that?
Which just means whoever scores next.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
So if a team, it's like it is now.
Oh, okay, cool. I thought it was something like one play.
I hope that calms everybody down because there was no defense being played in that game anyway. So.
It's safety first, bro. That's what the NFL cares about.
Yeah, more plays for them.
They're like, damn, man, that was our highest rating game, and we ended it that early. Fuck.
Did you guys see the Bills announce a 30-year deal for a new $1.4 billion stadium at Orchard Park? So the Bills are going to get a stadium.
And New York is paying, or Buffalo is paying them like $800 million of it.
Yeah, they love their team.
I wonder. A 30-year deal.
Like a
30-year lease.
It's like a lease. Yeah, I think it's insane. I wonder how. I wonder if the state. I can't wait to see the stadium design.
Hope it has a dome.
I feel like it's gotta be. In my mind, they probably have to make it a dome, but I feel like it's not the same to make it a dome.
You think they're doing that? Because remember you said a comment like a couple weeks ago about them. You're like, oh, they'll never get a Super Bowl in Buffalo because it's too cold, right? You think that's something that they're thinking in their mind, like, all right, cool, we want a Super Bowl to come up here, right? Like all the money that can bring.
If they get usually if you build a new stadium, you get a Super Bowl within the first 5 years, but you also have to like have a dome because they're not gonna do that again because they almost like had to postpone the Super Bowl in New York when they tried it, and it was because it was like freezing outside.
Yeah.
What else we got? What happened here with Robert Kraft? Nope.
don't touch on it.
Oh, I think
Harbaugh.
I think he gave Bill Belichick an ultimatum this year though, because he said he doesn't like that they haven't won a playoff game in 3 years.
That's what it says right here.
So, I'm just saying. I think Bill Belichick got put on notice.
I doubt that.
Hey.
Did you hear? Okay. Did you hear about the Jerry Jones stuff? the lawsuit. Some girls like
yeah.
some women is saying that she's his daughter and all that shit. I thought that was weird. Jason,
His daughter?
yeah.
Yeah, we'll see how that plays
she's
out.
suing him like, no, he's my father, like going heavy. But anyway,
Yeah.
it's not important.
Hey, the Ravens re-sign or extend John Harbaugh for 3 years, so he's staying in Baltimore for now. They're doing negotiations to try and lock down Lamar, and people are pretty upset with the not upset, but like owners or teams are finding it difficult to sign quarterbacks right now because of the Deshaun Watson contract.
You think?
It's like it puts the leverage in the players' hands a little bit, and the teams are not liking that. Sucks to suck.
Yeah.
I think that's it. Nothing crazy. Patrick Peterson's going back to the Vikings on a 1-year deal.
Yeah. I would say this, since that's the end of football. Let's keep it spicy for the great debate, right? So this has always been like a interesting topic or conversation if you had like a barbecue or something like that, right? So we're bringing it to two Joes and a pro, right? So the question for the great debate is winning the most important thing when playing sports? Do you guys agree or disagree to that?
Yes,
Why?
I agree. I think it's the most important thing, even at every level. And I only say that because when they're young and you're playing a game, if you're losing, you're pissed. You're not having fun.
Mm-hmm.
It's not as good. Like you're not gonna try as hard. You're not gonna be enthusiastic about learning and doing things. But like if you're winning games, it's a lot better. Not to say losing children don't want to play sports, because they still seem motivated to play. It's just it's harder on the coach to get them to like. It's easier to coach a team that wins all the time.
Yeah.
Because they're eager to learn. It's harder on the coach to get them to want to play and be motivated, and to actually get them out there doing stuff if they're just losing. They're 0-16 every year, like, and you can't get fired as like a peewee football coach.
But there's Go ahead.
That's why I think that winning is the most important thing. It is what everyone is measured on every level of the game. And I mean, there are some players that hate that really are out there for the money, but they're not going to get the money if they don't win games. Like,
Go ahead.
but now I'll let you
Go
go.
ahead, Brian.
I'll go ahead because I'm gonna kind of disagree on a little bit. I think it depends on the level, and here's why. I think that at lower levels of sports, like your high school maybe, in grade school and below and all that, I think losing is good because it builds character. It teaches you how to accept defeat in life and carry on. Like, I'm not trying to yell sappy with you guys, but you get some of these guys who have done nothing but win in all their life, and eventually they get to a point where they just don't win every game, and some of them melt because of it, because they've never been taught that lesson in life, and they don't know how to handle it. They don't know how to handle adversity. So, and I'm not saying this is going to happen to like Trevor Lawrence, like but he sticks out in my mind. Like, he's a guy that always won, and now he's not winning. So we'll see how he handles that. Is he going to be this great pedigree of a quarterback that we thought he was going to be? Like, is he going to be able to bounce back from taking all the losses that he has taken so far in his career in a professional stage? I mean, we'll see. But, like, I just think that some guys, like, they lose that competitiveness because they've only won. They don't know, like, they don't know how to deal with adversity. I don't know how else to say it.
Can I refute one thing here about Trevor Lawrence? As terrible as he was last year on the field, or like statistically, I thought he handled that season amazingly. Like, I thought, like, he went out there and he let it rip. Like, he threw a lot of interceptions because he had a short-term memory. He just kept going out there. I thought for what he had that year, I'm motivated on what the the Jaguars can do in the future.
Yeah.
Especially
Sure,
with Christian Kirk coming in.
Yeah, I'm not saying that he's done. I'm like, he's the good example that came to my mind of like a guy that has just won all of his career, and then now he went to Jacksonville and he's in the basement so far,
Yeah.
But we'll see how he bounces
Happens
back.
when
But
you
I
have
think,
molesting head coach.
but also, there's a lot of different things you can learn from sports. Just that go beyond sports, I should say. So I think that as at your lower levels, as you're a kid, when you're playing the rec sports, winning is not the most important thing. And trust me, I am a very competitive person. And when I was growing up, winning was the most important thing to me. But now I could see where it's good to develop character in people. And so I think that at lower levels, it's not the most important thing. But as you progress, as you get up to your college level and professional, then yes, I will agree that yes, winning is the most important thing for the same reasons that Ryan outlined. So I just think that it depends where you're at.
Mr. Kenneth?
Yeah, like I don't know what the hell Brian's talking about. Like what you said made no sense, right? Because the question was, is winning the most important thing in sports, right? And you're like, oh, it builds character. Even though you win, you still go through whatever sport you play. You still go through ups and downs in the game, and that's building character. Just because you win doesn't mean your character doesn't get built, right? And if you lose, that doesn't mean your character get built either, right? You can lose and just be like, oh, I fucking hate this shit. That's not building character, right? Just because you lose don't mean you get your character built, right? And then at the end of the day, nobody wants a loser. And I don't know any person that says, oh, give me the loser, I'll take him any day of the week. Nobody wants that, right? They want to see somebody that's a winner. And no sport you play, even if you're trying to go to, the next level, if that's from Pee Wee, you're trying to go to the best middle school, whatever the case may be, right? They're going to want somebody that knows how to win, right? And they're going to tell you every time you go to a team, it's like winning culture. That's it.
Winning mentality.
Right, that's it. Because
bring that to the team.
you take that, and then when you get to high school, there's not a lot of. You could be a great player, and if your team doesn't win, you're going to get less offers. That's a proven fact. Because coaches want to go to teams where players know how to win. That's the type of pedigree that they want to bring into their program. They don't care if you're a 5-star. Like, yeah, they're going to take a chance on you still, right? But you'll have more 3-stars get more opportunities on a good team, like a St. Thomas Aquinas, than you will get a 4 or 5-star on a team that they lose all the time. The difference in it is the mentality. They're going to be like, well, yeah, he's a good player, but this guy comes from a pedigree of winning. So he can bring that same type of characteristics and some things that's ingrained in him, he's going to bring to our program, right? And that has nothing to do with character, right? Because in a winning culture, guess what? They have to go through leaps and bounds to change people's mentality because everybody doesn't come in as a winner, right? Everybody doesn't come in that mentality like, oh, I got to get better. People come in the mentality of being lackadaisical and complacent. And in a time like today, right, especially with this new generation coming up and our generation, right, people want to shy away from the obvious, which is you either win or you lose at life. There's no such thing as, I'm doing okay. No, did you win or did you lose? Everything you do is either a win or a loss, right? People don't want to look at it like that. Like, oh, how are you doing right now? Are you doing good in life? I'm doing okay. No, you're not doing okay. You're either winning or you're losing, right? There's not. If you're doing okay in your perspective, that might be a win, right? And that's fine, right? But people don't like to be truthful with themselves, and I think when you focus on winning, then you have to. It's a left or right, right? It's two options. But a lot of people in society today try to keep this in between. So is winning the most important thing? Yes, because what you're ingraining into children, no matter the sexes, right, is in your mind, you have to approach life that way. Because all coaches, every time I played any sports, all coaches said, hey, football is a microcosm of my life. Basketball is a microcosm of my life. Because in that game, you have the ebbs and flows of ups and downs, which you're going to go through in life. So if I have you focus on winning, then you're going to be able to overcome that and achieve at the end of the day. But if I tell you like, no, it doesn't matter, you can lose, then you're going to lose at life too, because you were taught to you that it was okay to lose, right? That's why I say winning is the most important thing, because if you teach that, then you can take those same principles and apply it to life. And I'm done.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with you. I just think that at younger ages, you can get something out of losing too.
What?
I'm not saying encourage losing.
But I'm saying, what are you going to get out of losing for a little kid losing?
to see them bounce back, to handle the ups and downs.
You don't. So, but when you say that, is as if you're thinking like there's no ups and downs if you win. That means it's all peaches and cream when you win.
I mean, yeah. When you're a younger kid, yeah. Like if you're winning, does your performance really matter anymore?
It does, because it's easier to lose than win. Is that not right? Is that not an honest statement? A true statement?
I mean, I guess I don't.
So
I'm not
like,
sure
so what
you
I'm
mean.
saying, like, it's easier to be like, oh, I lost, I can deal with that, than continuously win, right? Because it gets harder because you're going to get everybody's best shot. And can you say in that case that's building character as well? Because you have to always improve and stay on your A game, rather than if you're a loser, then nobody expects anything from you anyway. So you can overachieve one day and it's like, oh, damn, you did good that day, but you're always considered a loser, so nobody expects anything out of you. So then when you look at yourself on two different facets, then it's like, oh, well, you're a loser. Nobody expected anything from you. So you don't really know how to measure yourself. But if you're a winner, guess what? It's a certain status that you have to keep all the time. You always have to bring that pedigree every single time. And in that in itself, I believe that's building character as well, because that's making you not be complacent. That's making you always have to be on the grind, always try to get better. Rather than if you're a loser, then you're like, I can slack off on the rep today because nobody expects anything anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that comes with personal, like how that person reacts to, whether they're in a good situation or not. Because I know there's a lot of people who grind, who might be on a bad team. They themselves might be a good player, but the rest of their team is just not that good.
One.
And they continue to grind and they continue to try to be better, but they're a quote unquote loser because they haven't won. I mean, because they haven't won. But at the same time, I'm just he gave up on the Browns. But I'm just saying, like, you have these guys continue to grind even if they're on a losing team. Like, I think that just comes down to what your personal makeup is. You either have a mentality to continue to improve or you don't, and that doesn't come with necessarily whether your team performs well or not. That's a personal choice.
Yeah, but I think you only get that drive if you were a winner at some.
Yeah.
If you're winning, if you were a winner at some point.
Exactly.
So those people that you're talking about that are losers, like for example in the NFL, they weren't always losers. Like Odell was losing like crazy in on the Browns, but he was always at that grind. But he at some point was a winner. Mm-hmm. Like when he was at LSU, like he was in high school. I'm sure he was like on a winning team. But has
you push you, right? That's what I was like, to Brian's point, right? To Ryan's point, like that's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, you have those onesies and twosies that are motivated, but why are they motivated? I bet you somewhere down the line, that whether that's their parent that came from a winning culture or winning mindset, that's what made them ingrained. And they're like, listen, I'm going to get better continuously. And it's easier, I feel like, for a mediocre player to be on a winning team to actually outperform what he actually can do, because he sees his peers around him excelling and they're trying to get better, than if you're on a losing team when everybody is like, all right, whatever, bro. It don't matter. We're losing anyway. Right? It's harder in that situation than it is if you're in a winning environment. So why won't you just put your kid in a winner environment and have them have a better probability of, getting some of those traits? I don't know. That's my 2 cents.
I like it. Brian sucks. Just kidding.
I might say you don't have a valid point, Brian. I think you do have a valid point. I'm just, me. I'm always the loud one out of all of us, right?
Listen, hey, it is what it is, man.
You could be right next week.
I will be when Villanova wins the championship. It's okay.
Oh my goodness.
I hope they don't.
Kenny said I'm done.
I did say you're done. Yeah. So I hope they don't, because every time he wins in anything, then it's like, Kenny, shut your ass up. Let me go on my rant. Like, I'm going to tell you why I was right. I told you. You didn't listen, man. Like, I don't want to hear that next week. I do not. I don't.
Man, I can't wait to do it. It's going to be great.
Just so I'm
tune in.
Didn't they just lose someone? Like their best player?
Not their best player, but they lost one of their starters. He tore his Achilles. Yeah, I didn't want to
built an excuse.
Right, exactly.
It's only because he tore Achilles.
Exactly. I'll be like, oh well, if that guy had got hurt,
It depends. If they get blown out by 20, then I don't want to hear that.
What if that guy scores 20 a game?
Whatever his average is, they gotta lose by that.
Yeah.
All right, man. That does it for the great debate, man. we don't have anything for BK bets besides if you're going to bet on the Duke game, just bet on Duke because the laws show
the
that
story.
It's 50-50, right? I don't know how they've done this over the years, but it's 50-50. Like they both have the same amount of wins. I think it might be one off in North Carolina's favor now. I don't know exactly, but it's like 50-50. I'm like, how the hell is that possible? Since an inception of you guys playing, that's just back and forth. But since North Carolina won last, the laws, the averages show you that Duke is supposed to win this game. So if you're smart, you'll bet on Duke. Unless you're just a Tar Heel at heart, then you can test your luck against the numbers. And then if you are a smart person, you're going to put all the house on Kansas because they're about to buzz Villanova ass. So don't be surprised if you see a two-teamer, Kansas and Duke money line, for the house, right? And it's going to be from Brian because he knows better.
No.
Anyway.
I take the exact opposite.
Yeah, okay.
I think North Carolina's a lot to handle on the inside, man.
It is. He is.
Just saying. And if you control the boards, you usually can win the game in college. So.
But what about Villanova though?
What about them?
What against them against Kansas? Kansas is a handful. Kansas is a handful.
Is the best team in the.
Yeah. I think Villanova is one of the teams that had like 4 senior starters. Like they're just a very experienced team. So I feel like that alone is going to get them through.
Kansas got the player of the year.
That's fine.
Abaji balling. Anyway, we'll stay tuned to that so Brian can be proven wrong. But as always, we have new episodes. The episodes is uploaded on motivateinspirednetwork.com. So go there, man. I'm not even going to say follow us on this. Just go to motivateinspirednetwork.com. You can get all our links to all of our social media pages on there. As always, we appreciate the love and support at Wilson27. Make sure you write us on Instagram or on Twitter, on the Motivate Inspired page on Twitter, and shoot us your info. Because I don't want to hear anything about, oh, man, they didn't pay me the money. We're telling you this right now, or right now, to do that. All right. So we'll see y'all next week, man. Go Tar Heels.